Hi, I'm your host, Marlo Lemon, and you're listening to Wild Voice, the podcast where I take this voice of mine and share my wild journey with you. Being widowed at 34 with a 15-month-old, most would see as life ending, and instead, I alchemized it and put life back together. Through my own healing, I realized who I am and what I'm here to do. I'm an intuitive energy healer and spiritual teacher, and sharing how I view the world is how I help you upgrade your life and alchemize your journey into magic. Today's episode is a unique one for the fact that not only does our usual Wild Voice Thursday drop fall on Thanksgiving, but it's also my 41st birthday. Oh, have I had some birthdays for the books, and also some different expectations for them over the years. But one thing has always been a constant. I love birthdays. And it doesn't even have to be mine. Birthdays are a day that is solely yours. Pun intended. It's the one holiday that is all about you. And for a very good reason. The day your soul came to this physical place to check it out. The day you signed up for Earth School. The day your soul made some choices and saw them come to life in physical form. It's also a day where this world got blessed with your presence. And if you've gotten this far in the podcast, then you know there is no one else like you. I don't care how many ways you try to tell me someone is similar. Your fingerprints are your own, and so is your soul. It's here for a very special, specific reason. And with each birthday, you would think we learn that more and more, and it builds upon itself. Funny, right? I know that's not how it goes. But once we know how to tap in and get curious and lead with intuition, I can say then that building upon starts. For me, it happened at 33. For you, it might not have happened yet, or maybe you're in it right now, or maybe you had an experience in your life that you got the luxury to learn it at 7. Okay, now that I've taken you on a little spiritual rant, it's story time. Birthdays have been big celebration points in my household growing up, same with the holidays. A magic and specialness that I can remember as far back as I can remember. So as I grew up, that translated in my own life as birthdays meaning it's go time. You pull out all the stops. Birthday week, birthday month. Now in my less evolved days, I would say it had an expectation to be something big. Not for like presents or that kind of stuff, but the feeling and experience and attention and effort. So anyone that was a part of my life knew that about me. You were celebrated, and therefore, we were throwing down for my birthday too. Some amazing birthdays, I'll tell you. But one of my most favorite ones was my 30th birthday. Everything felt aligned. I was running my mom's health food business. My marriage was great. My balance of friends to the ratio of doing things fun was in a great balance. And my health and how I took care of myself was top notch. The party itself was a Day of the Dead theme because my love for Halloween and the joke being the death of my 20s. My gracious parents hosted a huge blowout party that was catered, had dancing, a photo booth right when they were becoming a thing, and friends and family flew in from all over, and some even were surprises. I danced my face off, enjoyed Mexican food, which is my favorite, and woke up the next morning extremely hungover and fulfilled in my parents' house, sharing a bed, sleeping between Bob and my best friend. As I sat up, I saw more friends sleeping on the floor. That gratitude still continued as we made our way downstairs to help with cleanup. As I swept the floor, as others jumped in to help where needed, I looked around at what was around me. Friends, family, pink skeleton decor, and whatever I was sweeping off the floor. What caught my eye was streamers of pictures draped across one of the rooms. I had seen it the night before, my best friend had put it together, but I just looked at them all and smiled. People took the time to write things, send pictures. She took the time to put it together. My parents took the time to plan this party. What a gift that was, to have people's attention and mindfulness for the sole purpose to make me feel special. That's why I love birthdays. It's the intention that lasts a lifetime. Sometimes, the longer we're here on Earth, we can often lose sight of the energy behind things, and we start attaching expectations to this physical world. Whether that's based on our limiting beliefs that we might not even know are there, our expectations of others, which ultimately is giving them the power over our feelings and emotions. Or we have this idea in our head on how things should go, thinking we might be preventing bad stuff or uncomfortable things or people forgetting. But really what it does is put a ceiling on the universe's opportunities to deliver, closing off the channel to be supported, guided for what is best for us in that moment, even if it doesn't feel so great. possibly missing out on some pretty amazing things that can be delivered on a silver platter if we let it. When my late husband Bob and I met in college, we started dating each other a couple months before my 21st birthday. Now, if you want the full story, you'll have to go back to past episodes, or, shameless plug, wait for my self-help memoir, Soul Muse, to come out, which was probably early next year. So that 21st birthday, I can see it now. Jeans, bright pink juicy zip-up sweater, yes, the velour kind, long pink acrylic nails, heavy eyeliner, blown out straight hair, a Michelob Ultra in hand, and birthday magic, where beer bonging was definitely happening. The party was at Bob's house on campus with all my best friends, and he pulled out all the stops. Favorite drinks, favorite people, favorite food, pizza with lots of ranch, and constantly making sure I was having a good time. He just took care of stuff. No questions, he just did. And with generous, wide-open arms. As my birthday is always very close to the Thanksgiving holiday, that also meant family time. My parents had planned dinner at a swanky hotel for days later. So, with a couple besties in tow and Bob so they could meet him for the first time, we made our journey from Corvallis to Portland to meet them for dinner. That was my first birthday with Bob, and I would have 14 more after that. Each one he made special. It wasn't even like, let me tell him what I want. Let me remind him to do something. He was on it, and always with looping in my friends and family. Dinner parties, dinners out, surprise parties, trips away. For my 30th, following that big 30th birthday bash, we decided to go to Park City, Utah to just eat good food, hang out, and adventure, to do something different. That year, my birthday also fell on Thanksgiving. That meant driving from Oregon to Utah in one straight shot if possible, and breaking the news to my parents it's going to be the first Thanksgiving I wasn't going to be in town. My parents were not thrilled about this, but Bob put his foot down, which he didn't do often because he wanted it to be something different, something special. So once everyone was on board and we were planning to head out, with my mom hiding stuffing and mashed potatoes in our snack cooler, two of my favorite parts of Thanksgiving, we were off. We had made it almost halfway there, and during our drive right in the middle of Idaho, Bob's truck just completely stopped and we had to pull over. I'd like to say the me now was the person in the passenger seat, but instead, it was that birthday diva. So after a lot of confusion, a few phone calls, and a couple weird tricks, he got the car going again. Relieved, but also uneasy, we started driving again. Minutes later, it came to a halt again. He pulled over, and we were also closer to an off-ramp that looked like there was signs of life. Little did we know, it was the last exit for miles and miles. He kept doing the magic trick to get the car turned on, and we started to realize, after a handful of times, that the car was shutting off anytime we would go over 20 miles an hour. So, we very quickly made sure to get off at that first exit. It just so happened that there was a GMC dealership just waiting there. Now, me now would have seen all of this as a beautiful sign. I would have seen this as where we were exactly where we were supposed to be. But me then, I can't say I was that intentional about it. We knew they'd be open because it was early afternoon. We pulled in, desperate and hopeful someone could help us. As we were greeted with some friendly faces that had some not so great news, we were told we needed to bring the car back the next day, that the service department would be available and parts also. It just so happened the next day was Black Friday, so they told us they would also be open super early and probably could give us a deal. With a little bit of panic and also let's make the best of it, we looked around this tiny little cute town and Bob said, well, let's find us a hotel. He pulled up the closest ones on his phone and started calling to see who even had openings. There were 3. He felt terrible, so he was doing all the things he could to try and make this the best situation as possible. With each little thing he did, the day ended up just getting better and better, along with my mood. I look back at that version of myself and I roll my eyes. And I also laugh and have compassion. How limited I was in seeing the good. I only could really see it if it was traditionally good things happening. Grateful for my abilities now and what I have learned since then. We did start to make the best of it as Bob drove me to each hotel, not going over 20 miles an hour, and laughing at how mad people were getting as they passed us. People's intense reactions actually made us laugh. So as the hotel tour commenced, we walked into each one until we found the one that felt right. Bob made sure to have no opinion and just wanted whatever I wanted. We went into one that was 2 levels, had a jacuzzi tub out in the middle of the room, and had strobe lights flashing. I just looked back at him and said, why don't we check out some other ones? We went to another one that I don't think we actually walked into, and then the last one. It was a quaint little motel that actually had some cute amenities outside of it. Instead of just hanging out in the room, we decided to adventure out. Our jam was going to the movies. So we were so thrilled to find out there was actually a brand new movie theater right in town. We went to the movie theater and said we were just going to see whatever movie was playing at that time. It was Frozen. So we made sure to smuggle in our healthy treats we were able to find from the local grocery store and learned a big lesson about let it go. If you've seen Frozen, you know. We went back to our room that night and ate our Thanksgiving dinner. The sides my mom had packed us and turkey cold cuts from our snack cooler. The end to a day that actually made for a great story and was quite fun. With a bottle of champagne and taking dumb shadow puppet selfies, I don't know why we were doing that, we went to bed that night smiling. The next day, we got everything handled for the car and got to experience some truly kind people in the process. We went on to making it the rest of the way to Utah. That trip was relaxing, fun, and we actually did a handful of things that were quite playful and kid-like. One of the places we went was to the Sundance Resort, and we decided to have dinner there. But before, we adventured the property. On our way out from dinner, we saw this spot and pulled over. The sun was shining, it was a beautiful clear day, and Bob just got out and put his hands up to the sky like he was taking in the moment. His back was to me and it felt very picturesque, so I took a picture of him. That ended up being the picture we used for his celebration of life service card, with the other side being a Winnie the Pooh quote and a picture of Bob, Nash, and I at our first trip to the beach, which was taken just weeks before he passed away. Bob was my birthday celebrator, so when Bob died, it felt like that excitement for my birthdays did too. I think it's initially because nothing was the same and I didn't want it to be. I also understood what's important in life, and it's the energy behind things, not necessarily what's on the outside or what something looks like. With all of my healing, I also learned how much emphasis we put on some of the human things we're told to put value and expectations on. And holidays, I felt like was one of those things. Was it something that came from a genuine place, or was it something I was told to celebrate? I was trying to figure that out. Those first couple of years, they also just felt different. Spending 14 holidays with someone to all of a sudden not, you can imagine it changes your idea of them. But what it came down to is I really love the holidays, the feelings of them. I love decorating. I love birthdays. But it felt right to question it. It felt like with time, maybe I'd feel different, but those first few years, I was all about life just lifing. And if things got planned, great. If they didn't, also great. That just meant that's how it was supposed to be. I needed life to roll like that. I also had a lot of people in my life jump up to hold pieces of holidays that they knew Bob was the keeper of. I went through this metamorphosis of figuring out what my new normal was when it came to birthdays and holidays. Was it something that truly was me? Was it something that reminded me he was gone? Was it something I stood behind and really rooted to? Or was it something I was doing because I was told to or I was supposed to? As Nash got older, I also saw the life it brought, the playfulness. That's the part of birthdays that I love. That's the part of holidays that are magical. It's from those eyes. It took a bit and trying things all different ways. And last year, my 40th birthday, everyone wanted to make such a big deal about a milestone. But I didn't know I had that same feeling about it. But this was supposed to be a big deal, right? But I just didn't see that vibing for me. Was it a big deal because it was a big deal to me? Or was it because it's supposed to be? What does 40 even mean anyways? We're told getting old is supposed to suck, or be bummed about it, or hide it. I feel like the older I get, I figure this world out more. I get more centered with me. I realize ways to see I don't want anyone else's life, no matter how hard or great it can be at times. The things that matter to me are the people I love evolving through this earth school and creating a life that is fulfilling, impactful, and full of health, emotionally and physically. So this last year, from 40 to 41, was a big growth spurt. I've gotten more clarity on what I want out of life and making sure to get clear on where it's coming from. Is it coming from a should, a limiting belief, or is it truly me? So what I've learned I need to be by water. It reminds me to flow and let go. I've learned presence in a person means more to me than a present. I've learned that I love birthdays for their intention and someone going out of their way to acknowledge we made it another year on this planet, which sometimes can feel hard. I've learned health and how my body and mind work are immensely important to me. I've learned how someone else or a partner holds space for that feels even more important. I've learned my connection with Nash is my greatest gift I've been given in this life. I've learned that age is truly just a number. I feel younger at 41 with how I view the world and what is possible than I did at 30. I've learned it's important to figure out my values and hold strong to those. I've learned to protect my inner peace so my outer world can reflect that alignment. I've learned it's okay to want things in life. It's just up to me to confirm where they're coming from. I've learned it's okay to want more and be grateful for where I am. I've learned it's okay to be moody just because. I've learned I can have unconditional love for someone and still decide they aren't my someone. I've learned I deserve everything in this life that I want because I've done the work. I'm clear and will continue to be guided with clarity and alignment. And I've learned there's no such thing as perfect, but there is such thing as perfect for me. What I still haven't learned: how to truly get weird smells out of a front-loading washing machine. And why sometimes my clothes come out with oil stains on them or almost like a tie-dye effect, but nothing new or stained went in. Mind-blowing. I haven't learned how to not love carbs. I haven't learned how to read at night without falling asleep. I haven't learned how to make sure I drink the perfect amount of water each day. I haven't learned how to not pick at my face in one of those highly magnified cosmetic mirrors. I haven't learned how to fold a fitted bedsheet, how to paint my nails without messing up one of them before they dry. And I haven't learned how to truly be easy on myself and pat myself on the back consistently. But if I've learned anything, is that things are always changing and evolving. And what I'm meant to learn and figure out, I will. So, happy birthday to me. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And cheers to everything else. Okay, just because this episode's over, it doesn't mean our time together has to be. Check the show notes on ways for us to stay connected. And one more thing, if you found this episode helpful, I would be so excited if you chose to rate it, review it, like it, share it, or shout it from the rooftops to those you think might align with it. The more soul-aligned we are, the more beautiful, harmonious, and fulfilling this world becomes. We're in this wild ride of life together. Okay, that's all. I'm your host, Marlo Lemon, and you've been listening to Wild Voice.